welcome to Pint Sized OCR, the only podcast in the world dedicated to junior obstacle course racing and produced by UKOCR. And here's your hosts, Libbie Joyce and Finley Greenleaf.
We're back. Your monthly dose of junior OCR is once again here. Please sit back and relax, or maybe not sit back and relax. Maybe you're listening to this whilst running or cooking dinner. The point is, you are here, and so are we. So just enjoy listening to both me and Libbie chat away with our guest. After all, that's what we're here to do. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Half Pint OCR, episode number 3. How's that for intro, Libbie?
Better than I could do. 100% better than I could do. But yeah, we are back for our episode. So we've actually got a lot to talk about for this first bit.
Yeah.
So let's kick off. So I'll start off. So we have literally just done a race. So it's the 3rd of March today.
Yeah.
3rd of March today. So yeah, but yesterday we had winter nuts. So that was very interesting.
That was difficult.
Race.
Yeah.
How was you feeling, Finn, after the race?
I want to know how you were feeling, because I saw you before the race. You were just in a vest and stuff. You looked very relaxed. So you were in a vest. I don't understand that. I don't. For everyone listening, I had neoprene on. I had a long sleeve on as well, and I finished and had to be undressed by people, put into warm clothes. Clothes just chucked on me, and I think I might have hypothermia or something. I was shivering. I was in awful pain. And Libbie just finishes, going, "Oh yeah, finished. Got a good position. I'm quite happy." And just walked off. And I was like, "How? How'd you do it, Libbie?"
Okay, so there is a bit of backstory. So obviously, what you can see is just a vest, but under the vest, I have got a neoprene wetsuit vest on underneath. So I weren't just wearing a vest and another vest on top. I did have a wetsuit vest underneath. But it was quite funny running around and people like, "She's in just a vest. How is she doing it in just a vest?" But I think because I'm done nuts since I was God knows how many years old, like really, really young. I think I've kind of got used to the cold a bit more. And when I finished, I got moving straight away. I didn't stop too much. But it was quite funny, actually. I was standing there and everyone was getting dressed, shaking. I'm just having everyone look at me like, "How are you not cold?" I'm like,
Magic.
I would be, but no, what's the word?
Yeah.
I'm just not like, I don't feel the cold. No, but I do feel the cold. I do get cold, but I've just learnt now how to deal with it after races, I think. But we had 2 juniors race winter nuts, didn't we, Finn?
Oh yeah, 100%.
We had 2 juniors.
Yeah, we had Jake Jollies, I think was one of them, wasn't it? And we had Izzy Young. And like you were just saying, it is mental what we did at the weekend. It's one of the worst winter nuts I've personally seen, and I'm sure a lot of the veterans, of course, will agree. The rain, the cold was awful. So those 2 juniors to go through and compete, especially some of them being their first adult race, is incredible.
Yeah, so definitely well done to them too. And they both, that I've heard of, they both absolutely smashed that course. They did
incredible. Yeah. I think for our listeners, we actually spoke to them at Winter Nuts.
Yes,
and
we did.
Wanted to hear what they said. Now, me and Libbie are now relying on technology, so bear with us, everyone. But here is what we had from one of our juniors.
Hello everyone, we're here at Winter Nuts discussing with a few of the juniors everything that's happening for them in their very first Winter Nuts. So I just wanted to ask, how are you feeling?
A bit nervous because it's first race of the season, but I mean it's been raining a lot, so also a bit more nervous about that. Also very excited as well. Just really looking forward to racing again, getting back into it. Just looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's great to hear, especially with a long off season. It's good to get back into racing. I think anyone who's listening who was at Nuts, you can probably tell. Yeah, it's been wet, it's going to be muddy. We're recently saying this before the race, so we don't know what it's going to be like.
And it's very boggy.
Yeah.
Stuff we've already started, but it's very, very boggy. But what are you looking forward to doing the most? Looking forward to getting back on the rigs, because I haven't done a lot of rig work in a long time, so it's been looking forward to seeing where I'm at.
Perfect.
But yeah, we'll speak to you at the end of the race. Yeah.
And there you go. That's from our first junior, which was Jake Jollies. And I saw him at the end. He looked cold, but I think he was definitely very happy with how he finished and competed.
Yeah, I think we would have spoke to them at the end, but I think the cold it was intense.
Yeah, they
The
were cold.
rivers,
We were cold.
yeah, Finn was
Yeah.
extra cold. But the conditions were that was the hardest. Condition wise, that was the hardest one by far
100%. Yeah.
because the waters were really high up. Because there's one point where you have to go into the water and into this tube and climb up this tube, but the waters were that high that you had to fully submerge under them tubes, which you've never had to do before. Normally, you just have to get your shoulders under, whereas this time you had to go fully under. So I
Yeah.
think the
I had
conditions,
to
but we
stop.
did.
Yeah, I had to stop
Okay.
at that point. I even said to the marshals or officials there, I said, "You guys understand this water's cold, and if I'm going to drown, you're going to have to come and save me. So you sure you want to put me through this?" And they went, "No, no, you've got to go do it." So yeah, I was scared. So if some of these youngsters really sink their teeth
Yeah.
into it and just go and do it, is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, so we also did speak to Izzy as well.
Yes, we did,
So
and
we've got Izzy's as well.
here we go.
Okay, so we are speaking to Izzy just before the race. Izzy, how are you feeling? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited. I'm warmed up and I feel like I'm ready. What are you most looking forward to about this race? I think I'm most looking forward to the rigs because I feel like they're doable for me and I just want to have a go at them, see if I can succeed. Are you glad that you're doing this one for your first one as the series? Yeah, like this, I've never done the adult race before, so I feel like this will be a good race and it's really good prep for Tyson Warrior. All right, so we'll speak to you after the race. Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's from before the race, and obviously we all know what happened after the race. I think she smashed it. I think it's fair to say.
Yes, she
Um,
did.
yeah.
I do know she kept her bib all the way up to Valkyrie. So
Yeah,
she did
amazing.
very well. Valkyrie was a lot harder
Yeah,
than it normally is. I had to chicken wing it.
I'm gonna say I'm not gonna mention some of the adult men who were racing with me at the time, but I know some of them were using words that I'm not going to say on a children's podcast about that obstacle. But there was, yeah, a lot of words said about the Valkyrie and how difficult it was. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Valkyrie
definitely
was
tough
hard.
one.
But I think all the obstacles overall were really hard because of how it had been raining before and raining whilst we were out there as well, which made
Yeah,
it 10 times harder.
100%. I do want to quickly mention there, Izzy did say at the end of that practice for Tartan Warrior, which is of course coming up. And I reckon we'll have a lot of juniors there as well because we heard she's going. I think, yeah, that's going to be a great race coming up very, very soon in Scotland with a lot of junior competition.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna have very bad FOMO. I am not going to Tartan.
Oh,
Sadly, I will not be there. But Finn, you're going if I'm
yes,
correct.
you'll be there in spirit, Libby. Don't
I
worry.
will be there in
We'll
spirit.
have you there.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I will
But
be there in spirit.
mm,
But yes, it'll be good. I'm looking forward to seeing the results and seeing who's there
oh yeah, definitely.
because
I
it's
think.
gonna be a good one to see who's there.
And if you thought winter nuts was cold, remember everyone, we were in Scotland. You thought it gets cold, it gets colder. Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely rough conditions.
Finn, we haven't mentioned how we've done.
Oh yes, yeah, we
Go
haven't.
on, Finn. You
Do you want-
you can kick it off because I think you
Go on
probably
then.
did the best.
Oh no, I don't know. I got yeah. I'm not the type of person like say things about myself, but yeah, I managed to get first in the race, so I was quite happy with that. First adult podium, so give myself a little pat on the back. But
On the back.
yeah, went all right, I guess. Libby, what about you?
So I came second, which I'm very, very pleased with. Um, Especially because it's not like I knew I was going to do well. Like I love nuts, and it was a totally different course as well, which I enjoyed the most. Like you knew roughly where you were, but the route they sent you was different. So you're like, oh, I've not been this way before. But like I felt good on my running. I was picking it up on the backfield, opening my legs up more, which I felt really good with. So yeah.
Yeah,
And I
perfect.
don't think it wasn't close. It was quite close for us three top ladies as well.
Okay, yeah, that's great,
So
especially with competition. Yeah, it's really good to hear. I've got a couple more news on a little bit of paper here that I'd like to
ooh,
share with people. This is especially for the juniors. Listen up, and adults who want to get juniors going to places to train. Also, I'm going to say I'm hoping these all sources are correct. If I'm not, anyone let me know, because I get paranoid. I've said something wrong here, so fingers crossed this is all right. But from far as I'm aware, it is. These are junior training days coming up. So firstly, I've got the PT barn on here, 21st of April from 2:30 till 4:30. It's free for any junior signed up for the British Junior Champs, the Euros or the Worlds. If not, though, it's only 15 quid still. And it's PT barn. It's Scotty. I've mentioned it before myself in podcasts, and I think anyone who's been there will agree. It's a great training centre. It's a great place to be, especially for junior athletes. It will really, really help them. So I cannot recommend it enough. Another date for coming up is at Rumble Fitness, Rumble Racing is the team, not the place, but you know what I mean. Rumble Fitness has its own session on the 4th of May from 10 till 12. There's a 3K race sim at the end, if I'm not mistaken. That's also, like I say, a very big opportunity for juniors to come train and practice. It's with Dave Peters, Mo, as far as I'm aware anyway. I don't know who else would do it, but yeah, another great place to train, a great training session. I couldn't recommend it enough myself again. So there you go. And I've got one more. I'm on a roll here right now, let's just say, but one more once again at Rumble. It's a 3K race for years 14 plus, so slightly older juniors who are slowly chasing me and Libs. That's on the 7th of April, and that's a 3K race sim, which, yeah, it's perfect. Not race sim, that is actually a race. I'm incorrect there. It's an actual race itself for anyone 14 years plus. So there you go. Juniors, get yourselves booked up. Well, actually, adults, you'll probably be booking and paying and stuff. So sorry to get your juniors excited, but you got to go. They're great venues. They're great events. So make sure you book yourselves in.
Parents are gonna love this, Finn.
Yeah.
Absolutely gonna love us.
Making-
How much races and training sessions we're giving.
Slowly making bigger holes in their wallets and purses. I'm sure they're going to love us for that.
Yeah. Right. We good with that stuff?
Yeah, I think that's all of that. And yeah, that's our little summary for recent things for us and everything that's happening in the junior world. And with that being all the recent junior news and all sorts happening in the OCR world, I'd like to bring us to the main part of our show. And that's, of course, having a guest on. Last time we had Harry Jeffrey. Absolutely superb to hear what he said. And now we've got another superb guest on our hands. I'd say Libbie probably could introduce them, as after all, you've invited them here. And I think I'm very excited to hear about this because I think it was a great selection by you. Take it away.
Thank you. I know I've got great people that I know and I are best friends with, and everyone knows me very well. So yeah. Okay, so I have brought on Jaleesa. So she is a ninja athlete who also does OCR. I met her at the OCRWC last year. And it was amazing to watch her race. Absolutely amazing. Because I would try to keep up with her on the running, and then we got to drop zone, and I just do one lache, two lache, three lache, hit the bell, and gone. And there's me waiting, going up, down, up, down, up, down. So yeah, I would like to bring her on this one because I think she has got some great tips for juniors and everything. So yeah. So hello, how are you?
Good. I'm very good. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to see what we're gonna talk about today.
Yeah. So if you can't
Excellent,
tell,
yeah.
So if you can't tell, Jaleesa is not actually from the UK. She is from the US. So she'll talk about some of the races that they might have in the US and what their race is like, and you will be able to see the difference between US races and UK races. So
Yeah.
Finn, go on.
I'm from Colorado, and over here we have a lot of OCR races here as well, and a lot of them include like mountain running and like hill running, since in Colorado we have like mountains right in our backyard pretty much. So there's a lot of like hill running, and a lot of people that come from out of the state or out of the country have a lot of trouble like coming to high altitude. So sometimes that's a hard factor for a lot of people. But yeah, over here, I think it's pretty similar to the races in the UK probably. We just have like the running and the obstacles, and I think a lot of the obstacles are pretty similar, but I'd say the only big difference probably is like the altitude and the training like higher up.
Yeah, nice. That's good to hear.
Yeah, we don't have very much altitude here.
No, we're flat,
Yeah.
honestly. Apart from Scotland's, we're flat. Scotland's the
We
only
have-
good bit.
We've got the Peak District and Lake District.
And that's
Which
it.
you've got- That's good hills, but I don't think it's compared to America where you've got the massive mountains and all of them
Right.
sorts of training. But yeah,
Mhm.
Finn,
Yeah.
I'll let you
Very
start because
different.
you've got all your questions written down.
Yeah, I first want to say I apologise for anyone listening because I'm slightly uneducated on Ninja World, especially in different countries. I'm more OCR than Ninja, but I am very intrigued by it because personally, I definitely find Ninja more entertaining to watch. Like, look on Instagram, of course, I've seen yours as well, flying across obstacles. It's incredible. It's great entertaining to watch. But in terms of Ninja as a whole, just simple point blank question. How did it begin for you? Where did Ninja and you meet?
So for me, my mom ran these like ninja camps for kids. So she was previously like on a show called American Gladiators, which is kind of similar to American Ninja Warrior, but it's like it's it's not like obstacles, it's more like challenges and stuff. But that used to be really popular, but then it became less popular and Ninja started getting a lot more popular. So she was like, I think I'm gonna start some camps for kids. So then she created that, and then a ton of kids would come in, and she would just teach them how to do ninja and teach them all kinds of different techniques and stuff. And I started that when I was 6 years old, and I tried it, and I like got really good at it really quick, and I was like, this is something I really like to do, and I was like, we should look into some competitions and stuff. So after doing her camps for like 3-ish years, I started competing when I was 9, and I just started training ever since, and I've been competing ever since, and it's been really awesome.
That's great to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go for this one now because I've actually wanted to ask this question. So did you hear of like OCR through Ninja, or did you hear it like another way and figure out of it?
Well, I don't remember how I personally heard of it, but I know that my mom was really into it, and she really wanted me to get into it as well. And she took me to a race when I was 9, I think, and I competed in the pro division, and I ended up getting 3rd place. And she was like, "You're really good at this." So you like, and then she kept signing me up for more and more. And she was really excited for me to turn 13 so that I could do OCR World Championships with her. And then we did that when I turned 13, and then we both ended up getting 1st place. And then ever since then, it's been something that we can do together because she does ninja as well, but OCR is kind of more her thing. And so she really enjoys it when I like do it with her. But yeah, I heard of it through my mom.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And when you say that as well about OCR and Ninja, are they quite connected in America? Because in the UK, we've obviously got the BOS, British Obstacle Sports, and that connects both Ninja and OCR. So they quite connected in the US, or are they a bit more separate?
I would say they connect pretty well because like at most ninja gyms they have like an OCR class where it's like you can work on obstacles and running in like the same class, and it's like it's really easy to combine those two sports. So I would say it's definitely very combined.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, perfect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you train. How many actual training facilities? So we've got how many main ones? So
Oh,
like
there's a good amount, isn't there? I'd say.
there's a couple amount of OCR based things, but then we've got like our total we've got Ninja Warriors and all of that training for ninja stuff as well, which we all train at. Training facilities in the US, is there lots of them or is like a small amount of them?
Yeah, so there's actually like a ton in the US. Even just in Colorado, there's like more than 10 gyms within like an hour of me, of just like an hour or two. Yeah, there's just ninja's just getting really popular out here, and like I'd say Colorado and Florida are like the two like biggest states for like ninja wise. That's where a lot of like the big ninjas and pro ninjas live. And so, yeah, we have lots and lots of ninja gyms out here. So it's really helpful for like training wise because every gym is obviously like really different. So just like being able to drive like 2 hours away and like, or like less, then you can try all these different obstacles and get all this different training. So I'd say there's definitely a lot of different places to train here.
Yeah, it's great to
Yeah.
hear. Like you say, especially with you're saying a lot of the pros and professionals of Ninja being nearby. I think that's one of the main things that probably drives the sport is having that connection between professionals and everyone training in certain areas across the country. I mean, like you say, you mentioned American Ninja Warrior. It's an incredible show. I think that's why it's grown so much because it's entertaining for everyone. I remember watching it even in the UK. It's on TVs here. Ninja Warrior. Look at
Right.
that. I think that
Yeah.
probably inspired the English one, of course, British Ninja Warrior, and obviously the original in Japan, Sasuke, all of that, all come together to form Ninja Sports what it is today. And it's all of that combination, I think, that makes it so superb.
Yeah, for sure.
Finn's doing all his research. It's just coming out.
That's-
It's just coming out with all of them.
Yeah, a little bit. I tell you, it's a little bit of research, but a little bit of childhood memories in there as well. Because that is, I think, I'm not a ninja person, but that's how I got into OCR by watching Ninja. Because that's what I had on TV as a child. It was great. I think I'm saying channels now, but I think there's Challenge in the UK is the channel. You had Sasuke, which was the Japanese one. And you had American Ninja Warrior come a few years later. And then we had the British one, which was great to see. And it's just superb. It's entertaining, and it's just great to see and great to speak to you as well to hear from what you have to say about it.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so I'll go for this one. So obviously you went to Belgium, which is the FISO, and you won, was it pro women or junior?
I think I was in the junior division.
Junior division. So you won that and you did a rapid time that's so quick. So how did you find Belgium?
So I actually don't know how I heard of it, but I just heard my mom was talking about, oh, there's a big race in Belgium that we're gonna go to, and she told me that like a year before it, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then the time just came that we were like, oh, we're going to Belgium like next weekend. And then I like showed up there. I didn't really know what to expect, but I knew it was gonna be like some sort of like ninja course. But yeah, when I got there, I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. And then it also helped that we could like practice the course and stuff.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot. But yeah, I just thought it was like an awesome experience. I really like the head-to-head racing. That just like I know for a lot of people, like mentally that like throws them off, but for me personally, it like makes me go faster and like do better when I'm like against somebody. But I think it was a really cool setup, and yeah, it was just an awesome time.
Yeah, it's great to hear. And like you say, the 1v1 setup they have, I personally, although I'm not 100-meter racing myself or anything short distance, but I think it definitely is like you say, you got someone chasing you, you're pushing against each other. It's more exciting for the crowd. I think obviously Libs, you were there as well at Belgium. You could see the crowd, especially in those finals, raising to their feet
Yeah.
like it was at a football game or something. It was incredible entertainment. So yeah, it's a great format, and it's great to hear how you did.
I do think at Belgium the 100 meters was the main thing. Everyone was gathered around it. They were because they had like little seats as well where everyone was sat, and there was people standing up as well alongside. So I think it was one of the main ones
yeah.
as well.
Hands down, yeah, definitely. And
But
especially when it comes
yeah.
to, I'll say, when it comes to events like that as well, it's one thing I really want to ask is because, Libby, you're like me, sometimes more of the longer distance races. I've 8Ks, 12Ks, 5Ks, and I come to obstacles and I feel nervous because I know if I miss that obstacle, people could catch up to me. I could lose my position just by slipping. But you talk about 100 meters, one obstacle, one slip, you're done. They overtake, you're behind. So do you ever feel any nerves, any pressure when it comes to these races?
Yeah, I definitely do have a lot of like nerves and pressure right before I start. But then as soon as I like start racing, then all the nerves like go away, and then I'm just like I just have to stay super focused. But it's definitely, I would say there's definitely a skill level to it that you need to have, but it's also, I think a lot of people don't understand how much like of a mental game it is. Like, because it is a lot of pressure to be like in front of that many people and competing, and then it's like the thought of, oh, if you mess up, then people might think that you're bad or something. But you just have to like focus on the course and what's right in front of you instead of thinking of what's like around you. But I would say, yeah, I definitely do have nerves, but I would say that the nerves like help, because being nervous means that you care, and that's a good thing, because then you like then you want to do your best, and then that's normally what happens. So
yeah. That's a superb way to say it. I think definitely, like you
Yeah.
say, showing nerves shows you care of it, and like you say, to have the composure to keep pushing through and to brush those nerves off as soon as you start going. Completely agree with you there, and that's great to hear.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good. So going back to not like ages ago, but quite a while ago, you did obviously American Ninja Warrior. Was it the junior or adult?
I did the adult show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we were actually, to be fair, when I first heard about Ninja and everything, and we came to OCRWC, my mum was like, "Oh, Jaleesa's gonna be there. She is such a person to look at." So I was looking through your Instagram when I was like, when I first heard of Ninja and heard of you, and I was looking back at all of them, like from the distance that you are off the floor to the jumps that you do, and obviously the distance from it and how far you actually have to lasso yourself. It's quite a big distance.
Mhm.
So how was that with the experience overall, and how did you like prepare yourself for the height of it and for how long you're actually doing the lassos for?
Like on the TV show?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I had before I went out to LA, California to film the TV show, I did a lot of like more like grip work than like lache work because I had already like known how to do laches, so I worked on like grip so that I could have like the endurance to get through the course. But yeah, when I got there and got on the course, it was definitely like I thought it was going to be bigger, but I saw it in person and I was like, it looks pretty doable. So yeah, but when I got up there, I was like, just kidding. This is actually like really high. Like it's a
Yeah.
lot higher than it looks, especially in Las Vegas for finals. That was like a super high course. Like the second obstacle, it was called um the three ring circus, I think, and it's the one where you like have to unhook the ring and then swing through, and then it's a blind grab like up to a UFO. That was probably like 20 feet in the air. Like it was like 20 or like 30 feet high, and like looking down, it was terrifying, but like all you had to do was like stay focused on what was in front of you and like keep looking forward, because yeah, if you did fall, it'd be really scary, but luckily I did not fall on that one. But yeah, just like getting up to the show, I was like, my expectations were definitely like, I thought it would be a lot bigger and scarier. But then when I got there, I was like, once I started the course, it was like, I do this every day. So I can do this. But yeah, it was definitely intimidating at first, but it was a super cool experience.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And so one thing I do want to ask is I've seen American Ninja Warrior, I've seen what it's like, and you compare it to the one in the UK. Ours is in a studio, so ours is completely indoors in
Yeah.
like a little studio. But I've seen in America a lot of it's outdoors and stuff, and some ninjas indoors, some's out. And do you have a preference between that? Do you prefer indoor races, outdoor races? Do you find there's any difference between them you need to kind of take care of on the obstacles, or do you not really bother and just go and have fun?
Yeah, so typically I prefer like indoors because then you don't have to deal with like cold or hot weather, or, like the sun being in your eyes, or if it's like too dark. But filming for the TV show, that was outside, and it was around like this time of year, so it was still pretty cold out. So that made it a little bit like harder to like warm up and like and stuff like that. But I thought it was really cool being outside because there were so many like lights on the course, and you could still see everything, but it was like it just made the whole atmosphere feel a lot cooler. But for normal competitions, like league competitions, I definitely like them being inside, because then you just have a stable like temperature, stable lighting, stable like you don't have to worry about stuff around you. You just have to worry about yourself and the course. But I would say both of them are a lot of fun, but I would definitely prefer like indoor.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Sounds good. I tell you what, I really wish I had the knowledge of someone like Tommy, Jack, or Hollis to speak about Ninja, but there's so many things I have to ask. I think people who listen to this might be OCR like me as well, want to know this. And that's kind of how do these Ninja tournaments work? Because I see some that are like series across the year and across days, some are like knockout stages. what's your average ninja competition like, and how's it kind of work?
So there's a lot of different like leagues and competitions like that. So it really just depends on the league. But the one that I like the best, it's called NSC. You guys have probably seen it like on Instagram and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's the format is there's 4 different courses, but everybody runs the first course. It's called the open round. Everybody runs the first course, and then only the top 10 move on to the next 3 courses, which is hybrid, speed, and burnout. And then all your points from those courses add up to be like the final placement. So that's like the big like pro league right now. But other smaller leagues are just like a 1 or 2 day thing where it's just you just run the course, and then that one course is like determines your placement. So it really depends on the league, but yeah, the one that I've mostly been doing is the NSC.
Okay, nice. Sounds good.
Yeah. Quickly going back to OCRWC. Obviously, you've done it for a good couple of years. So obviously the ninja courses over the time have changed. So from when it was at Stratton to Mammoth, the courses were 2 totally different courses. When you went from the Stratton course to a Mammoth course, did you think that they were going to be different, or did you think they were going to be like roughly the same?
I thought that they were going to be like roughly the same, but when I got there, the 100-meter course at Mammoth Lakes was a lot more like OCR.
Yeah.
And I was a little worried because I was like, these are like tough like endurance obstacles, and normally when it's 100-meter, normally it's speed. So it threw me off a little bit, and they were also like OCR obstacles that I hadn't practiced on that much. Like for example, like I think it was like the first or second obstacle, the wall with all the holes and the chains on it, like that
Olympus.
one. Yeah, Olympus. Yeah, that one definitely was not a super speedy obstacle. That one definitely put me behind all the other like OCR athletes, but I was hoping that they would be the same as the past years, but it wasn't. But it's okay. Sometimes you just have to adjust.
Yeah, because obviously I was there watching, and I think the first section, so obviously people who weren't there, it went down and you had to turn around and come back up. So going down was proper like endurance obstacles that weren't like speedy, but like you could go through them quickly if you knew how to do them and you'd done them over and over again. Whereas when you came back up, you had proper swingy obstacles where you could flow quickly. And watching you, you could see that you were more not confident, like better, and you knew how to do the swingy one so quickly because of how much you could see you missing out the sections. So I think it was a really good. It was good to watch, to be fair. But I think, yeah. But going on to staying on the OCRWC, the 3K. How did you find about the 3K?
The 3K, I honestly didn't know what to think going into it, but I was pretty excited because I had done those in the past, and just like the past years of OCRWC, like they were on like ski hills as well. So I was like, I partially knew what to expect, but I think the one 3K that was last year was a bit harder than Stratton, because I don't know why, it just was, and it was like it was really warm out. I do remember that, and so that definitely made it a bit. I liked the obstacles. They were fun.
Yeah, I think it made it harder as well that we were starting at 9,000 feet.
Right, that is very true.
Whereas at Stratton we started about, say, I don't know how much it was, like it weren't that much at all that we were starting.
Yeah, maybe like 6,000 or 7,000, or like maybe less than that. I don't know.
I think we started at like 5,000 maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas Mammoth we started at 9,000, which was definitely, it was different too, because then we went up an extra 1,000 to come back down again. But I think that played a big part on it.
Right.
But, yeah. But I think the obstacles the obstacles that they put in the 3K suited the 3K really well.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like you could tell it was a 3K and you could tell it was a 15K. You could tell that they made the 3K harder because of the shorter distance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ended up not doing the 15K this year, so I don't really know which obstacles were in that course, but just from hearing what people said about it, I could definitely tell that the 3K was definitely geared towards more speed and 15K was definitely endurance
Yeah.
obstacles. But yeah, I really liked the 3K because it had a lot of like ninja obstacles almost. They were like super swingy obstacles, so I really liked that course. That was a fun course.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we had drop zone in it. I think drop zone they do in both because it is one of the harder obstacles. But
Right.
when I was racing against you and I was just behind you, watching you go through drop zone so confidently was like, oh, okay, that's one way you could do it. And watching other people do it the other ways, did you always have doing it that way in your head, or had you seen someone do that way and thought, oh, I'm gonna do it that way?
Yeah, so at first I was planning on doing it the way that I did do it with the laches, just laching through it, because like in my head, normally when I'm like at a ninja competition, I go through the entire course and I plan out every obstacle in my head. So the obstacles that we could see like from the base area, I like went through in my head. So I was planning on doing the laches just because I knew that it would be faster and it would take a lot less energy than going all the way up and then all the way down. But I can definitely see how that'd be super tricky for somebody who doesn't do ninja because it's just a weird setup. It like swings all
Yeah.
weird, so it's like it would definitely be hard if you didn't know how to like lache and like confidently.
Yeah. And they were, as opinion as mine, I thought they were further away than at Stratton. And they were slanted up a little bit more.
Yeah,
I think,
I think they were. Yeah.
I think when you look at it like that, you're like, okay, you got to look at it a little bit different
Mhm.
because they're not going to be moving the same and they're going to have a different momentum, obviously, and they're going to have a different angle. So you have to think about other ways that you're going to have to do it differently so it
Right.
suits you.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed the course a lot. It was good.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Can I just say, with us mentioning obviously OCR World Championships and the FISO World Champs in Belgium, personally for me, the big part of that was the fact it was countries against other countries. And for me, representing the UK was massive. I think I'm a football fan. At points, I wanted to like feel like I was kissing the badge of England, things like that. I'm very patriotic when it comes to things like that. So for you to go to these races across the country and across the world, what's it like to represent the United States?
I would say it's definitely an honor because there's a lot of really good like racers and ninjas in the USA. So it was it was definitely really cool to be like one of the few that was picked to go represent. So I definitely would say it was for sure an honor and it was super fun.
Yeah, it's great to hear that real pride in it to represent your country. It's really special. So yeah, great.
Yeah, obviously going to different countries, do you like how they do like them differently? Have you seen the difference between what they're like in the US to what they're like in other countries?
I would say, well, the only race that I've been in out of the country was Belgium, but I would say it was kind of similar to OCR WC. Like there was an announcer, just like there is it in the US, and like I would say the big difference is I've never been around that many people from different countries in like one
Yeah,
spot, which was so cool. I just never experienced that before. But I would say the whole overall format was really similar to every other race here.
yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Are you going back to OCRWC at Mammoth again this year?
Yeah, I think my mom just signed me up, so I'll be there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be more this year. I'm hoping they are. Fingers crossed
Yeah.
there is.
Yeah, I hope so
Because
too. I hope some more girls our age try it.
yes, Because
Yeah.
I think there was 5 who did it in the 3K, and there was only 3 or 2 that did the 15K.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think only 2 or 3 did the 15K. I was like, I really wanted to do it, but I wanted to try and save my energy for the 100 meter.
100 meters, yeah.
Libby,
Yeah.
we
Yes.
can't keep doing this, Libby. We've just at the start of this episode talked about how we're gonna get these juniors really expensive trips to training days,
Sorry.
and now we're gonna encourage the parents to get them flights to America. We're breaking every parent's budget listening right now. We started off with £15 sessions, and now talking about flights to America. So I'm very sorry to all the parents now because their children go up to me, oh, can we please go to America? It sounds awesome. And they're gonna have to pay for it now. So apologies to those parents, but like you say, it sounds great, especially the World Champs coming up.
Yeah, totally.
It is. I do love OCRWC. I think the atmosphere is good as well because you always get everyone out there. But yeah. And have you got any more questions on your little list?
I've got a question, and it's actually, I'd say, I'll direct it at you, Libby, a bit now as well, because we're talking about the sport in America. It's getting big, it's getting bigger. We look at Ninja, how it's grown massively. I'd like to declare it being probably alongside OCR one of the 2 most rapidly growing sports in the world. So obviously it's now Junior Ninja Warrior in America. Do you reckon with a lot of the talent slowly growing here in the UK, could we see a British Junior Champs or British Ninja Warrior sometime in the future?
Maybe.
There's definitely the talent there now, isn't there?
Yeah, I think the talent is there. The only thing I'm thinking of at the minute is like most juniors are doing OCR.
Yeah, I mean,
and like obviously Ninja is such a wide sport, and I think it could get to the sport in the UK where it's growing and growing and growing. Like obviously Ninja there's quite a few now new ninja athletes. We're also getting the pentathlons in.
Yeah, I mean,
so we're also getting some of the pentathlons in as well.
Yeah, I mean, we can see, you never know. People listening to this might be from ITV, might have Chris Kamara, Ben Shepherd, you never know. They could be listening and nudge, try and get them to get it in there on ITV. Fingers crossed, one day we might get there. Just have to wait and see.
To be fair, now I've just thought, have you got obviously Ninja's coming new sport. Have you got any like other people from different sports doing OCR and coming to ninja competitions?
I would say there's a few people from our ninja gym that have started trying like different Spartan races and OCR races because they heard about it like through starting ninja first. But I don't know if I can think of anyone from OCR that has tried ninja, but I know we've actually had Leon and Ida and that group and like VJ and all them. They've come to our gym a few times actually. So they've tried ninja with us, but yeah.
Oh, the question's just rolling in out of my head. One thing I want to know about ninja, obviously you got your ninja, you got the 3K as well, 15K. When it comes to ninja, what's kind of the shoe choice? And once again, I know Alan loves talking about shoes as well, so I think this will excite him.
Oh my gosh.
Because look for 3K OCRs and long distance OCRs, you get trail shoes, you need your lugs and stuff. But you look at 100 meters, maybe one more on dirt and grass. You obviously still probably need a trail, but you need a bit of grip as well. You're going to need quite a grippy shoe for indoor ones that are based a lot on foam and plastic kind of surfaces. There's all different types of ninja. So shoe recommendations, what do you normally have?
Yeah, so for me, I used to have a shoe. It was called like the brand was called like Feiyu. It was like a martial arts shoe. I started out with that for a while, or I didn't start out with that. I just had that for a while back, and it's a pretty good shoe. But I've just I think it's a good shoe for like people who are just starting ninja and like need like a bit of support because it like comes up on the ankle a little bit. But recently I switched to just using Vans. They have like it's called the Ultra Range EXO, just like a tennis shoe. I really like it because it has like padding on like the bottom of your foot, but it doesn't come up over your ankle, and it's like super grippy. So I really like those for me personally. But that shoe is definitely becoming more popular in like the ninja world. But a lot of people also use like a new brand called Series 1 and Strikes and New Balance. Like all those kind of shoes they all work great, but it kind of just depends on like whatever you want. But yeah.
I mean, in Ninja, you've got obstacles like the quintuple steps and things like that. So I'd say you're taking the slogan of Vans off the wall, quite literally there, by doing Ninja with them. So yeah, that's great to hear though. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
How on earth have you just whipped that name out of anywhere? You literally just came out and just said that name so quickly. I was like, what?
What's the slogan of Vans? Vans off the wall. You got to know it's a quick one just to get going. You know, catchy lines. That's what you need.
I had a question in my head and I think I've just lost it. Thanks, Finn.
Sorry, it's just, my humour's getting in the way sometimes. I need to just zip up points and let Libbie flow through the questions.
You're gonna have to carry on now. I feel about it.
Yeah, well, have a little think because there's so much. I think that's the thing with Ninja as well. It's so expansive. I mean, you look at how it's come through the years. You've got monkey bars. You've got so many complex obstacles as well. I don't know how to describe it because you look at Ninja. There's so many different obstacles that are constantly changing and evolving. How do you train for the unknown almost? Because I feel like obstacles are released so quickly and different types, different grips, and all sorts. How do you adapt like that to different obstacles and different things you have to try and learn just like that?
Yeah, so yeah, definitely that's definitely a factor. Obstacles change all the time, so you really don't know what to expect, but you kind of just have to train like the base level of like skills, so like just grip and like quickness with your hands and different like technical moves. Yeah, you really don't know what you're gonna get, so sometimes that's the fun of it because you just kind of have to see when you get there, but you just kind of have to have the base skill level, and then normally once you have the right like swinging techniques, grip techniques, different stuff like that, you can basically do anything that comes across your way. But yeah, obstacles definitely change super often, and I've definitely come across so many obstacles that I've never even thought could exist, but yeah, I come across them all the time, and you just have to kind of go with the flow.
Yeah. I mean, the creativity I've seen on obstacles just off the scale, all sorts being used for Ninja. So, yeah, like you say, you never know what to expect, but as long as you're enjoying it, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I thought of it now. I've remembered.
Boom. There we go. Take it away.
So going back to OCR, some people who obviously might follow me on Instagram might have saw for most of that weekend I was wearing my OCR Gives Back top. So OCR Gives Back is an amazing thing. I absolutely adore it and think it's such a good idea. But obviously your mom helps out with that a lot. Do you want to obviously I know you probably want to go out and there do all of the amazing stuff they do, but obviously because your mom does it so much, do you want to explain to people who don't know what it is a little bit more about it?
Yeah. So I don't know if I know a ton about it, but I know enough about it. So I think it's like an organization that like gets a ton of OCR athletes and brings them to different countries and areas that the kids aren't as privileged, and they bring like obstacles out there and bring like excited people out there, and they just go and just share joy with them and share like just good times with them, and yeah, like introduce them to like Ninja and OCR. My mom went to Mexico with OCR Gives Back in January, I think, and they brought out a ton of obstacles out there and set up like ninja courses for kids, and she said it was just an awesome time. Like she learned a lot about their lives and their living situations and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a really great organization that just reaches out to people who would never normally get to see stuff like that.
Yeah. So
it's great to hear.
Some of the top elites actually do go. I know. I'm thinking of some of them off the top of my head. So some of the main athletes that normally go. So you get Lindsay, Tyler. Oh my God, the name's not coming to me.
I just want to say, I'm really uneducated when it comes to things like this. I'm more of just, I chuck myself on a course and race. I need to look more on social media because I hadn't heard much about this. This just sounds great to hear, and it's really good for a sport, especially like OCR. It's quite new to develop like this and spread across the world in such a way. So I'm just stunned into shock. That's really, really good to hear.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is such a good one. Basically, when obviously people who post it, and I just look at the kids that are there, and they've got the smiles on their faces, and they're enjoying what they're doing and enjoying the sport and getting to experience what it is, but having fun doing it. And I think it's so good. So when I got given my t-shirt, I was so grateful that I got given it, because it's one of the things you think about it and like, that's one thing that I would love to show about OCR. It's not just about the competitive side of it and racing it, it's also about showing the side of what the sport actually does to help people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and it's awesome that they can like find people that love doing OCR, and they can just share that like joy and passion with like the little kids and show them what the sport is all about.
Yeah, and that is exactly what this is about, the community and everyone having fun and enjoying themselves, and that is why we love this sport so much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Fed, have you got any other questions?
I've got none on my list, and none that have come to my head. I think we've properly picked everything out that we can. And
I think
yeah.
we have, yeah. But yeah,
well, thanks for having me, guys. It was fun.
Thank you.
Thanks for being
Thank
here.
you. Yeah. So this is sadly the end of this podcast, but
podcast, the episode, isn't it, Libbie? We're not done yet. If I say we're 3
no,
episodes in.
No.
I was gonna say.
No.
Scared me there.
This episode, not the podcast.
Everyone, we're back. Don't worry. We're not going anywhere. For those who enjoy us, don't worry, we're back. For those who don't, tough luck. We're sticking around. So there you go.
So the next one will actually be after the UKOCR Awards.
Yeah.
Then we'll have our junior award person. But yeah,
that'll be a big discussion. Yeah.
That I think that would be the main.
Yes, that probably will be. There's everyone getting excited now, listening, knowing what's coming up soon. But yeah. And I think, I'm gonna give a little warning for everyone listening now after listening to this episode. If you have become interested in Ninja, I warn you, if you search anything up on social media, you'll be scrolling for a long period of time. So there's so much entertaining stuff you're gonna see. You'll be watching videos for hours straight, and your jaw won't be able to be picked off the floor. Honestly, it is incredible. So
it is, yeah.
Be aware.
But yeah, so that is the end of this episode. So thank you so much for coming on, and it has been lovely having you on this episode. But yeah, that is a wrap. Finn, go and you can do a little.
Okay, fair enough. Everyone, thank you for listening to us once more here on UKOCR. We hope you enjoyed listening. Remember, if you do want to listen to us or any other UKOCR episodes any earlier of any of their podcasts, just join the Patreon. It's a little bit of money, but it helps the sport, and it really helps UKOCR itself with all its podcasts, such as our own, such as Half Pint, such as Who's Hot. It's what we love to do. But thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you next time. Take care, keep racing, keep running, and enjoy listening. That's all.
So it's a bye from me.
See you guys.
See you soon.
Thank you for listening to Pint Sized OCR, produced and presented by UKOCR. If you like what you hear, please subscribe or leave us a review. And you can even get your parents to join our Patreon train so you can get your podcasts earlier than everyone else.